on Instagram and the YouTube, Facebook group page, then you already kind of know what's going on with the AMX the last drag race or so. But for those of you who don't, I'll give you a quick sit rep. Anyways, we took this out 2 weekends ago to go race with the new engine setup and everything. And this is typically what I run on. They're just Mickey Thompson ET Street, you know, DOT approved road slicks. Good tires, you know, I'm not complaining about them at all, but we were having a problem with tire slippage, so dog over there sneezing. Instead of running our typical 7.5, we could never get faster than 8.1 with this new engine, which was really bizarre because it was running excellent and felt like it was just really getting after it too down the track, but it was actually running slower than the other end, the wore out 5.3. But so anyways, we messed with it. We ran a bunch of runs. We lowered the PSI down to 8 PSI on these tires, and had a professional racer there named Spanky, and he went ahead and staged me and watched to see what was going on, because even he says there's something up with the suspension or something. And he watched and he said, well, it's hooking for about a half a second and then it's just spinning the tire down to 160 foot. So he said, you know, you might have to run them at 6 PSI, but at that point we figured out that the wheel was actually spinning inside the tire as well. So wasn't going to work. So there wasn't nothing we could do. We ran consistently at 8.1. We just couldn't get any faster than that. So we ended up ordering a brand new set of wheels and tires, and we went with bias drag tires because I'm sure it's true. I've been told you can't run 2 bias tires with 2 radial tires, vice versa, whatever. You don't want to have 2 radial front tires and 2 rear bias tires. Apparently it'll cause you some problems. That's what I've been told, so I went ahead and just ordered all bias drag tires to solve that problem. Now the point of this video is we're going to prep this rear wheel, which is a 15 by 8 with 4.5 back spacing. These are 15 by 8 with 3.5 back spacing. So these will tuck in the car a little bit more than these. These stick out a little bit further. We're going to drill and tap these so we can screw them to the new drag tires, because we're going to be running pretty low PSI, and these Hoosier drag tires, we want them to wrinkle to get a really good bite. So that's what we're going to do in this video, so I'll quit talking and let's do this. Alright, so I got Unilug. I think they call these Chevy Rally, I don't know, but they'll fit the 4.5 by 5 lug too. So the first thing the guy wants to do, which I looked on YouTube, I didn't really find any videos showing you how to do your screws and all that stuff and tapping your wheels, so I had to do some research and figure all this stuff out. But according to Hoosier, you can get a tire screw kit from Jag, Summit, whatever, and I found the instructions for that kit. So it gives you a chart. Depending on how fast you're running, you're going to put X amount of screws. Well, I really doubt we're ever going to run faster than 6.5 seconds in the 8th. So we're going to do 8 screws. That's all we need to do. 8 screws on each side. And, you know, you got to figure out, well, how am I going to get 8 of these into this perfectly and all that good stuff? Well, it's pretty simple. You know, you can get online and just put, well, first you want to measure. You want to just kind of measure your wheel here. So we're about 16.5, just under, probably 16.3/8 is probably what we're at. So 16.3/8, you know, you go and get online, you put what's the circumference of a 16.3/8 circle, it's going to tell you 51 inches or something like that, probably 51 point something. You take that and you just divide it by 8. It's going to give you a weird number like 6.4, something like that. So anyways, basically what I've done is I've just rounded off to about 6.5. Just a little under 6.5. And easiest way for a guy to do that is just kind of get an idea. You're going to put your screw somewhere right in the middle there. Oops, let me actually point there. And you know, when you're going to make yourself a little gauge, and by the time you get back you should be pretty well with that. So let me make a little gauge for you, and I'll show you how I've already done one wheel, but we'll do it on this one. Okay, so I went just a little more than 6 3/8, and you just grab a piece of tape and you make yourself 3 lines. So we made our, and I meant to record, I actually thought I was recording a minute ago. Anyways, so you get yourself your center line, whatever you want, and then you make your line on your piece of tape with it. And you just kind of wrap this thing around, etc. And then you just kind of follow it and make your dots as you go. And then when you get all the way around, like, you know, you just keep putting your tape. When you get it all around, it should kind of line up with your last one, which I was off just a little bit, but like an 1/8 inch, not hardly anything. So anyway, so that's how I got my 8 dots ready to screw holes or drill holes in. And the other thing you got to do when you're drilling these is you don't want to go straight down. You want to kind of be with the curve. You want to go at just a slight bit of an angle. That way you can actually bite into the tire. And you know, you got to do it on the other side too. Basically what I did with the other side is I just took my framing square and just kind of use it to line up on the rim. Make sure you're straight, you know, because you're using that part on the wheel too to know you're straight. And then you can kind of figure out where it's going to be exactly on the other side. Start your dots on that. So I'm going to get the other dots ready, and then we'll drill this wheel real quick, and we'll show you how to get the screws in. Okay, after you go around and drill all your holes, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but the drill bit, you know, it kind of goes like that. Instead of going straight down, you're more at an angle. But anyways, after that, you're going to want to deburr, especially the inside of your wheels here, where all that metal is. You're going to want to give them a quick little deburr. Make sure they're nice and clean with nothing sharp on them. And you got to do that for every hole, even on the outside. And then you're going to take your screws, which I went with 1 inch. I don't know, I think these are metric or something. But anyways, these are 1 inch long, 8 millimeter 5/16 heads. And then I used a 3/64 drill bit for the hole size, and then these drill their thread in there. I didn't see anybody saying to use self-tapping screws, so I did, however, see one small post about, you know, just using regular screws. They didn't want to use self-tappers. But anyways, after you deburr them, you're going to take these and you're going to actually drill them in and out a few times and get your threads kind of cut in there. Do that for every wheel, and then, you know, check for burrs again and stuff hanging out. And then when you're done with all that, you're ready to put a valve stem in and mount a tire. Alright, so you're going to run around and you're going to run your screws in and out a few times. Make sure they got kind of a thread cut in them. You're going to do that for every hole, and then we'll get our valve stem in, and then we'll mount one of these. Well, we'll mount this tire and then get our screws in and go from there. Alright, well, this is a Harbor Freight tire changer, and yes, I don't have it mounted to the floor in any way or mounted to anything, so this does make it a little bit of a challenge, but not gonna lie, pretty simple. I was actually pretty impressed. I've already mounted a couple tires with it, so I would not go as far as saying I would want to mount anything other than a small car tire on it, but for what it is and these bias drag tires, pretty useful to me. Anyways, you want to make sure you butter up this wheel and tire real good. I guess you don't want to get too much of it down in the tire, but this is going to be kind of hard to do with one hand, but get it all greased up and then do your best to kind of shove them on there. And anyways, you're going to try to kind of shove them on there, and then you'll get your flat bar and pop them on. So let me grab that and get this popped on real quick, and then I'll kind of show you how it's done. I'm going to try to get this last. There we go here. Try to hold all this stuff steady. There you go. So, like I said, it's pretty simple. You're not having this thing mounted to anything. It's really not that bad. The worst part is this part, getting this part of the wheel on. Same thing, make sure you slime him with some good soapy water. And then you're going to kind of, this definitely is a two-hand operation. You're going to kind of get that all pushed down as far as you can. And then you're going to use this bar here, like that, and you're going to use that as your brace, and then you're going to basically push your tire. It's going to push your tire on for you. When I get to the last little bit, I'll kind of show you. Okay, so as you're doing this, I found the easiest way so you're not struggling, which probably wouldn't be a struggle if I actually bolted this to the ground, but push the tire all the way down into this section here. That'll give you a little bit more space to work with. But anyway, so that little hook kind of hooks your rim. You have to manhandle this thing around, and as you turn it, it grabs your rim, spreads it over the wheel, and it goes down. The hardest part is keeping this part pushed down as you start coming over, because if you don't, it'll just start coming back off the tire. And that might be because I have too much soap on it. I don't know. That's what I ran into on the other tire. So let me get this finished up and we'll have a look. Whew. And just like that. That's kind of the last part of it. Alright. Oh, and I forgot to show the valve stem, so I just get these metal ones. Super easy. In my opinion, a lot easier than the pull ones you grab and you pull them out. I've been known to break those. I know they're not that easy to break, but I always find a way to break them. So if you can get the metal ones, they're definitely the way to go. A little bit more expensive, but I'll pay $10 a stem just to have the ease of putting them in. Besides that, Bonneville salt flats, you gotta have metal stems. I can't run these tires on Bonneville, just throwing it out there. I was thinking ahead, even though it won't work. So I got that all mounted up. I'm gonna tighten that down. Setting the beads on these was surprisingly really super simple. It's as simple as just hooking your air up to it and squishing the tire, and it grabs hold of the beads and blows itself on there. You're not supposed to go over 40 psi. The tire, I mounted already. I think I put 30 in it, and it finally popped onto the rim. So I anticipate about the same on this. So let me get this tire on the rim, and then we'll put our screws in it. So this tire is seated at 17 psi. And no, I didn't use that. I just couldn't find my tire pressure gauge, so this one's all digital. But you're supposed to fill them up to about 20 psi. and then do your screws in there. So just to kind of skip some annoyance of me talking and telling you about this, so you're supposed to put a little grease on them, and you're supposed to put blue Loctite on your screws and then screw them in, and then when you get to the end there, I think it's half a turn. I'm going to put a little bit of right stuff in here and then just put my screws in, because as some of you probably have already figured out, I'm not putting tubes in these tires. They're probably going to leak off some air, but they're drag tires. You're going to be monitoring the air all the time anyways. And, you know, I think right stuff's going to do a better job at sealing the tires, you know, keeping an air leak. And I also asked 8 individual guys who drag race, who've been drag racing for years. 4 of them said you run tubes. 4 of them said they don't run tubes. I couldn't make a justification off of that because there's a 50-50 chance. So I just went with the I'm too lazy to buy tubes, and here we are. So I'm not running tubes. So I'm sure somebody will tell me how that's not going to work or something, but too bad. That's how I'm doing it. Anyways, I'm going to throw a little right stuff on those, get the screws in, and we'll take a look at the final product. When you're all done, this is what you should have. There's my old wheel. Yeah, I could have drilled and screwed up these wheels, but I figured I'd leave these for being able to drive on the street still, and then these would just be the flat-out race car tires. So, like I said, you should always just order the drill, the screw kits, and you should probably just do what the instructions tell you to do. I by no means did probably half of the steps you're supposed to do. I just kind of gave you the roundabout of what you're supposed to do. And we'll find out if these hold up in the future or not. You know, I could have just ruined $500 in tires. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. But both sides are screwed and tapped. That tire's actually been on there overnight, and it's lost 1 PSI. I put exactly 25 pounds PSI in it, and over a 24-hour period, it's down to 24 PSI exactly. And we could have lost a little bit putting air in it too, but obviously these ones aren't leaking any air because I didn't screw any screws through them, but those are the front runners. I will get them bolted on real quick, slam this car on the ground, and we'll have a look and see what the AMX looks like with its new shoes. You know, I couldn't leave you guys hanging and not show you the satisfying tire pop on the front runner. These are so easy, you don't even have to use the thing to go around the rim. You can just use the flat pick bar part of it. Alright, anyways, I'll air these up and then we'll take a look at the car. Alright, everybody, well, this is what it looks like. I actually only put them on the one side. Be kind of hard to see, but that tire sticks out just a little bit more. Should have plenty of clearance. Front runner, and that again is a 4x15 with a 4.5 inch tire. They line up pretty good, I would say. And then my original daily setup, which I would say they'd probably line up just as well. Definitely a difference in tire width on those little front tires. Alright, well, I appreciate all you guys for watching. I did say that we're going to try to drag race this car tomorrow night in Anaconda, but unfortunately the weather's looking really bad. It's been raining here all afternoon, and it's talking thunderstorms all tomorrow afternoon Anaconda and Bozeman, so may not be able to get to run this down the track. But it looks like I got a small leak on the supercharger I better fix. But anyways, so that's that. If we can't run at this race, we still got a couple more races we can tag along with the wife and the Gremlin and do some test and tune. But I really hope this is going to cure the AMX from its spinning the tires and all that fun stuff, and hopefully we can get a really good ET. I'm hoping for just somewhere in the 6.9, 6.8. I would be tickled if I could get that quick with this car. If I could just get into the 6s, I would be a happy camper. If I can get to at least 7, 7.1, I'd still be pretty happy. We have ran 7.5 with this car with a piece of crap 5.3. There's no reason this stroker 6-liter with the supercharger can't run quicker. It probably does, it just is that much more torque and that much more power. Now it was just spinning tires. So, well, as always, like I said, appreciate you guys watching. We'll make another video here soon, and be careful if you buy a Harbor Freight tire changer. They will work, but I'm not going to tell you they're going to work for everything. So, all right, till the next video, we'll see you in the next one.